So when people think about Siem Reap, they think about Angkor Wat, Angkor Wat, Angkor Wat. Well, there's a lot more to Siem Reap actually than just Angkor Wat. Although obviously Angkor Wat is absolutely amazing, and we really enjoyed our time visiting the temples there. There's other things to do. First of all, there's, for example, the floating villages and the markets to visit near the Lake Tonle Sap. I have another video, a separate video on that. But what about the things that you can do in Siem Reap itself? So if you're not into Pub Street, let's say, what else can you do in Siem Reap? Well, in this video, we're going to explore just that. We will be going to the APOPO demining NGO. So your contributions by visiting this museum and seeing how APOPO demines Cambodia, which has been bombed extensively and mined extensively during the various wars it's had. And secondly, we'll be going to the killing field. There's a small killing field as well in Siem Reap that you can visit. And thirdly, not in this video, but worth a mention, there's also the Cambodia Landmine Museum, about an hour north of Siem Reap, which I've heard is worth a visit, but which we did not have the time to visit. So now I'm gonna go visit the APOPO Demining Center, which is based here in Siem Reap, and they use a special race of rats to detect the mines. It's something I remember reading in a book, I believe on the Guinness World Record book in the early 2000s, that these rats were used here in Cambodia for finding mines. And so I randomly saw that they have one of these centers here, an educational center, so we're gonna go check that out. So this is the entrance. You can see one of the rats in the guy's arms. APOPO. And let's go check it out. Hopefully I can join a tour. This is the bombing during the Vietnam War. And these are the landmine areas. So for some reason they had a lot on the border, all across the border, seemingly with Thailand, of which the majority here have been cleared, but a lot of sections have not been cleared. And then in the whole area near Vietnam, there's also a lot of uncleared landmines.
Hero dog, before we send them to working, we will put the GPS on the back of them first, and then we let them to go. And if they find the mine of 82, that mortar is not shot from the airplane, but we put it inside the tube, and we can go inside the tunnel, and then we fly. Sometimes it's explode, but sometimes it's not explode. But if they not explode, it's very dangerous for the kid, especially like boy. Because when they see the bomb, it's a shape like an airplane, they think it's a. She is a girl. She's 3 years old and 1.3 kilograms. And now you can take photos, video of her as well. Yeah, but please don't touch her now. Oh, okay. Because she's licking. If you have lotion or spray on the skin, it will affect her. Yeah, cute girl, Nina.
Nina is a nice girl. Like.
And the handler, they also put the leg into the hook too. So whereas here they use one for the rat. And the rat is go back and forth, back and forth inside here. And the handler, they go step by step. It is a half meter by half meter. She's moving here. She needs to clean something first. I love the way that she do it. And everyone inside a box here, we have 2 T8 containers. Yeah, we have 1 T8 container here. It's no TNT inside. It's just a scrap metal, so that's why Nina, she don't care. Yes, but when you see, we have the other one here. It's next to the ground that have a few grams of TNT powder inside it. But to see that Nina, she can find or not, and when she find it, how does she do, and the handlers will do. Stop there.
Yeah.
Get her. You see she's stretching. See? Good. Here's the reaction of her that she's stretching. So the handler, when you see the rat stretching, he clicks. you know the place now, she stopped right here. We go to get the report from the handler. Because
It's filming?
Is a
And
sensor control?
no. But so this is it's already filming,
okay, so
and
just
this is the camera.
When you hold him, put your arm like this side. Done. So this one, his name Jordan.
Hello, Jordan.
Jordan is a
contact
boy.
cam đấy nào. Contact cam chứ.
Can I touch its tail?
Yeah, you
Yep.
can. Back for the coffee. Back from it.
Very nice.
Got
He
idea.
seems very tired. No?
Oh, it's nice.
He very quiet one.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very calm. This one. It's not like the other. For the other, like Gertrude, she like shoulder. You always go to shoulder. And Glenn and Ratana is lovely king. Đọt đây.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, cool.
Yeah, welcome. Oh, we don't include with the other organization. Yes. And now let's move on to see this one. This is about a square that is cleared, the land that they cleared already. So from
So just finished the tour at the APOPO demining center, and it was actually very interesting. They explained something about the situation in Cambodia with all the mines and all the unexploded ordnances around the country with maps and everything. Then they also show you how these mines would look like in the wild, the types of mines that they have mostly there. And then they also show you in action how the rats are working. And you get to hold one of those rats. And then they show you a video explaining what they're doing, what they're up to. Very interesting. I mean, I think it's a great way to also support an NGO in demining this country. Really poor country. As I said, I remember in the 90s, and still there's so many people here that have become handicapped unnecessarily because they stepped on a mine playing football in some random field, or they just grabbed a bomb as a child not knowing what it is. So really cool. I recommend you go. Cost $9 if I'm not mistaken, if I'm remembering correctly, and I recommend it. Now Siem Reap also has a small killing field that you can visit. This is what the inside looks like. This used to be a temple before it became a killing field, and $3 entry. Let's check it out. So that's pretty gruesome. It's basically the story. I mean, the museum is not super modern or anything like that, and in fact many of the plaques are missing, but it's quite gruesome story about a guy called Lim Srarom, probably mispronouncing that, who was held prisoner during the Khmer Rouge regime, and how, yeah, everything he saw and experienced, absolutely horrible. And apparently they were about to execute him, but he was lucky a couple of times, and then they changed him to another camp where he was then saved because Vietnam invaded Cambodia and toppled the Khmer Rouge regime. This also doubles as a temple, as you can see there. There are some young Buddhist monks. So you can pause the video, but essentially what it says is that this is a well in which they found 50 to 60 bodies that were thrown in by the Khmer Rouge. And this is a mass grave that they found over here as well. Apparently they found 23 bodies, some of which were children. Living under the Khmer Rouge regime sounds like it must have been absolutely horrible. From reading these stories, multiple stories, it's like you're dealing with a regime of complete morons and idiots, right? So this one guy, for example, was a car mechanic or a motorcycle mechanic, and they kept asking him over and over, torturing him, "Are you a soldier? Are you a soldier?" "No, I'm a mechanic." And he was a mechanic. They just kept asking him. Then they suddenly decided he was a CIA agent. No reason to believe that whatsoever, but they tortured him. He admitted to being a CIA agent. After the torture, he was sent to prison, where he kept telling them he was a mechanic. They brought him motorcycles, which he was able to fix, since he was a motorcycle mechanic, right? But still, he was kept in prison. Thankfully, he survived. But yeah, imagine trying to reason with complete idiots, right? This must be a horrific situation. I mean, one of the Khmer Rouge policies was to kill anyone that was educated in any way, right? Even if you wore glasses, you would be up for the chopping block. Look here, there's a little cat. This killing field is also like sort of a semi-village slash temple slash museum. So you're walking through, I don't know, like a temple village, but you're walking through the streets and it's also a museum. And don't be fooled by the grave of 50 people and 25 people that I just showed. This regime killed a quarter of the population, so more than 2 million people, yeah, died as a result of this regime. This is what one of these prisons looked like. Horrific. Yeah. The saddest part of the story is that Pol Pot was never convicted of anything. He died of old age, of some cancer, I believe, but he was never accused and convicted of anything. So millions of people never got, I guess, justice for all of the dead. Out there. I guess this was a temple that they used as a killing field. Like the temple doubled as a killing field. So this is the central night market, and they also have food around here. And so I believe these are mud crabs and some giant prawn and shrimp and some squid. Wow. All freshly imported from the sea, I suppose. Dried fish. Chicken. It's a massive watermelon and various fruit. Lots of little snacks.